Good morning, Peacock.
Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome back.
I know I think it's been a minute.
I know that's because we were away for the Thanksgiving situation. We have to tend to the turkey.
I was gonna say a little thing, something a little bit more. We were spending quality time, that which we couldn't do in our previous year when we were working. But okay, we were
Oh.
tending to the turkey.
Well, the Salvadoran turkey in my family needs a lot of attention. It needs to be, massaged, it needs therapy, it needs to be refrigerated, it needs a lot because, panes con chumpe, it's no serious. So that's what the situation is there.
Okay. All right.
So today, what I wanted to do was we wanted to talk about our summer program in Spain. We had that wonderful Black Friday special, and I think that some people have questions about what is it, what does a day-to-day feel like, what is a UNESCO World Heritage Site? Because those are some questions that folks have, especially because if they have student graduates who are going to be going away, they want to make sure that they're well informed about what the program offers, who's accompanying them, and what is the program really entails. So I think that today on To Peacocks Travel, we're going to talk about our summer program. So let's get started, Anna.
Perfect. I love it because I do, like you said, I think, it's kind of a twofold of information. We're going to be giving information that's interesting for the parents, but also interesting to the students because parents want to know like who's going to be with them, how are they going to travel, like all of the parent type of questions, right? And then you got the students. What are we going to do? What exactly do we have to do? And I think that us being able to cover both perspectives is helpful. And we can keep adding information. The other thing someone suggested is, put it on our social media because people, as they're following, it's little tad bits of information. So one of the things that, I want to start with is what you kind of mentioned to begin with for parents. This is a trip that is organized, completely operated and executed by both of us. So there's two of us to the group of students. And so I want parents to be okay with the idea that traveling abroad is not only is it going to be so beneficial for the students, and we'll talk about the benefits. Are you like in my cup too? You're in my cup too.
This is a new Peacock cup that we got from little junior baby girl, our little friend that we met many years ago. And so was this for our birthdays?
We hadn't seen each other in I don't know how long, but
it might be one of those birthday, Christmas, Valentine's Day thing, But yes, we both have these beautiful Peacock cups. But you need to get out of my mind, so.
I know, get out of my head. So I want to give parents peace of mind because Sandy, for you, even how we got started on this, right? You had asked me about sending Ryan with my family, but peace of mind for you was that he was going to be with my family, right? That he was going to go somewhere where someone was going to be able to guide him. And, that's how the first idea started. Not that and for you, I think, travel has always been in your blood. So you're a little bit more, you're comfortable with the idea of him having to go, abroad and maybe have like, okay, we're going to go we're going to go spend some time with someone that you don't know because you yourself did it. You went across the country at 15 with no cell phone. You didn't know the family, but you did. And so I think that for some parents, I haven't sent my children abroad by themselves. I've sent them with a group of students. So there definitely is going to be, someone that's going to help guide them and everything. So for parents is to give you peace of mind that for all the students that come with us, we are with them 24/7. So that's like the first thing.
You know who didn't have peace of mind back in 1987 was Vicky. So just to kind of give you a background how it all happened. So I was a sophomore in high school and I was already taking, I think it was maybe like advanced French or maybe AP French because there were only like two of us in AP French. It was me and my friend Pia Wan Laxmi Vidya. I'll never forget her name because she was from Thailand. And so anyway, so my teacher says to me, hey, would you like to go to France this summer? And I was like, France? Like, sure, So I went home and I told my mom, and she was like, well, don't you want a quinceañera? And I was like, oh my God, really? No way. Like, no. First of all, at that age, it was kind of weird because I know you remember, like, I didn't want all that attention on me. I just remember as a kid, every time we had a birthday party, I ended up crying. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, because my mom would get mad at me because I wasn't smiling in the pictures, or because I didn't blow out the fucking candles. Excuse me, sorry. I didn't blow out the candles. And so, whatever. So I was like, no, I don't want to party. So it was like actually a great excuse, right? Not to have a huge party. I'm an only child. So my mom, I'm sure. Yeah. And so I'm sure my mom in her mind thought, oh my God, we're going to have a quinceañera. But anyways. So I said yes. I think that she thought it was just going to be like one of those things that, we hope it happens, but we really hope it doesn't. So she told me I had to get a job to kind of help out because they pay for everything except for the airfare. So, and I had to go to downtown LA to go get a visa. It was like a big deal. Well, I got a job. I got a job across from Hollywood Presbyterian at a restaurant called, I don't know, something at Puerto, something like that. It was a Mexican restaurant. Anyways, I had a job Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So she was like, oh my God, this little girl, like she's really determined. So anyways, I ended up going. And on this trip, I went to go stay with the family. It was 3 daughters, mom and dad, in a small town called Montmarsan, which is probably closer to Spain than it is to Paris. But I met great people on an airplane, people that I'm still in touch with. Well, I know Anna's like, I can't even believe you still talk to those people. But, it was such an experience because I had never been, A, on an airplane by myself. B, I had never left, I think, California at that time. I mean, I had gone to El Salvador as a child, but that was it. And so it was definitely, and I don't remember being scared or anything. I think I was more excited, but the unknown, right, of the people that I was meeting on the airplane, I thought was like, what in the heck is going on with these people? This girl that I sat with stole a bottle of champagne, and they were on the airplane. Yeah, they were like, whoever stole the bottle of champagne, please return. I was like, oh girl, the one sitting next to me's got the bottle of champagne. She was like, you want to go to the restroom and drink it? I was like, no, I don't want to go to the restroom and drink it. I was shocked. I was like, I must have been like the most quietest person because I was being exposed to so many things. So anyway, so we get to my family, and, the experience in itself was to die for. I mean, of course, you learn so many things. They thought that because I lived in California that I surfed every day. I ate hot dogs and hamburgers every day. And they asked me if I knew Madonna. And I was like, what? I was like, Madonna? Does she live in LA? I have no idea.
The material girl.
Yeah. So they were like, oh, but that day I remember when I arrived, I slept, I think, a whole day. It's something crazy because of the jet lag, right? And when I woke up, the mom says, oh, there's some friends here to see you. I'm like, friends? I don't have no friends. What are you talking about? And I walked into their living room, and there must have been 20 people there. 20 people. And I was like, oh my God.
You were the center of attraction.
But what I realized?
Talk about not wanting attention from your birthday parties. You were it. You were the attention.
But I think they were disappointed, Anna, because they thought I was going to be a blonde, like, beach girl. The stereotype.
And you were going to be Barbie. The old school Barbie.
And then I freaking let them down real nicely and slow, right? When I was like, no, I do not eat hot dogs and hamburgers, and I do not live by the beach, and I do not know Madonna. So everybody can go home now.
Well, just from your story, let's talk about all the things, the benefits that you got out of this. And this is what I want parents to know. The benefits of student traveling, especially during the year of high school graduation and college, there's so many benefits. And just from your story right now, I'm talking about you made new friends that to this day, it's an extension of your network. Whether you've kept close or not, you know that you can pick up because you have that shared memory of a childhood of adventures. So, you meet new friends. You get out of your comfort zone, which prepares you when you're going into the real world, right? When we're in high school, we're in our little high school group and we're hanging out in the field or we're hanging out in the cafeteria. It's, in your vicinity, your local neighborhood. but stepping onto an airplane into unknown territory. And the good thing was that you were 15 with no fear, because you just went. You may have been shy, but you were just kind of observing, taking things back, which is what we want to encourage our students to do. I know it's completely out of the realm of what you're used to, but that's just it. Take it all in, build new friends, your confidence. How confident were you after that? When you I got on a plane and I knew how to maneuver through the line. You got through the check-in, the security. What was your confidence level?
To this day, Jessica will tell me how for them it was an incredible experience that I went away, and I was like, "What?" Like to this day. I mean, it's been 30.
They got to watch you, right? From the sidelines, they got to watch, and you came back a different person. You built independence. Yes. You had personal growth, right? You learned how to ask questions and figure out things that you may not have had the answer at the moment, but you lost that fear. And so I think it's really important, for parents and for students to know that, there's always a solution to a problem. Now, that's one of the things that you learn as you go along the way. You talk to people, you get to know cultures, like they thought you were going to be the blonde hair, blue eye, eat hamburgers and hot dogs and you surf every day. You're like, that's not what but it really does expand. They're like, oh, do you think that they don't remember the American that didn't look like the American, but she was here? That, those are things that you can only experience. I can't tell you about it. You tell us the story, but we don't feel what you were feeling. It comes from you, from within. So I think that student travel, your story in itself provides so much value because it's a window into what is possible. So just like you did it, we want to expand this opportunity to other students for growth, for individuality, for self-independence, for confidence, to establish a network. Because what is the value of a network, Sandy? It's huge.
Oh my God, it's an amazing thing. So the people that I still talk to, but Khadijah Bagwell, who was from the Bronx, I'll never forget that. So she actually is an international attorney who lives in Paris, France. She's married with children. I know, it's like, and then my friend, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank now? Her last name is Powell. She was the one that stole the bottle of wine on the airplane, but she's from Lake Oswego, Oregon, now lives in Livermore, California. She's a real estate agent. So, but we're still friends on Facebook. And so it's an amazing thing. Yeah. The network, right? So your network just continues to grow to the point where if you can tag back, 30 years, you're kind of like, wow, you start with very small number of networks and then now as an adult. So I think that's one of the things I think that I want to tell you that I think I learned the most, that was the most important skill, was figuring it out. Figuring it out is a huge skill that a lot of kids don't have, right? They put their phone down and they look at you and they're like, so now what? Figuring it out. Yes. I mean, so I think that my trip would have been even better if it would have been in a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I was in a little town. So there was not a lot to see in my town. But I think that if we would have been in a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and if you don't know what a UNESCO World Heritage Site is, the definition is a United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organization that has been put together by United Nations. And so there's so many around the world. The number one country with the most UNESCO World Heritage Sites is Italy.
Yes.
They have Cinque Terre, the Colosseum, Venice, the Vatican. But, our place where we take our students in the summer program is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is in Cordoba, Spain. So Spain is third or fourth in the list. They have 49 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and Cordoba happens to be one of them.
Cordoba has 4.
Huh?
Cordoba has 4 sites.
4 sites. So just a quick history. So Cordoba was founded by the Romans in 2 BC. Girl, if that's not old.
I can already see your history circles going.
Girl, So, when we take our students to Cordoba, we do meet with them, and it depends. It depends if we're there beforehand. If we're already there in Spain waiting for our students, the students that are traveling with a travel ambassador, which is one of the students that we had in the program previously. So he will accompany the students through the whole process in the airport, checking in, making sure that if there's any connecting flights, that make sure everyone's on the flight. And just basically, hurting the students, make sure nobody gets too excited and, they miss their flight. And then when they arrive at the train station in Cordoba, we are there waiting, with transportation to our house. And our house is actually located right across the river. And how do you pronounce the river?
El Guadalquivir.
Guadalquivir?
El Río Guadalquivir. And the bridge that you cross over is El Puente Romano, which leads you right into the Jewish quarters, La Juderia. And from our house, you could see the Mezquita, which is a UNESCO site. And it's funny because to me, I've been to Spain all my life. That's where I grew up. And your travel is different from my travel because I would go there not even realizing that I was in the midst of the UNESCO sites. I've been there all, to me, that was it. And now, looking back, it's like, wow, like to tell the history and to be able to share this with students. So where they're going to stay, their accommodations is smack in the middle of all these UNESCO sites. They have access to all this history, all this art, all this culture. You cross El Puente Romano, which goes over the Rio Guadalquivir, right into the Juderia. You go straight into the Mezquita. You got La Calahorra. You got, what's the other one? El Alcázar. There's an immense amount of history, but more beautiful is that they get to explore it by walking. There is not the driving. We minimize the driving only because the best way to see things is by walking and stopping by and just peeping in to see, hey, this is what's going on here. This is the music going on there. So yeah, accommodations are ideal for any student, and it's near public transportations because what do the children get to do? The students get to do?
They get to ride the bus to school every morning. So they have Spanish classes from 9 to 11 with our wonderful professors who are born and raised in Cordoba, Spain. And so they take off in the morning. They have breakfast at home. We prepare breakfast, and then they get on the bus and they go to school for 2.5 hours. They're there. Usually while they're out, they'll have lunch on their own just because they don't want to get back to the house. After lunch, they will come ahead. They will come and come back home because there is a very serious siesta, going on.
Don't mess with the siesta. The siesta is sacred time. It's sacred.
And don't be thinking about it. You better not go to the chicken man, at 3:00 talking about, is your chicken ready? Because he's going to tell you no.
So we definitely do transition the students into understanding what the local
customs
rhythm of the day is. And so, yes, in the morning, students will have their breakfast. They walk to the public bus stop, and they take them straight to the school. They do their classes, come back. There's lunch prepared, and then the siesta time. But one of the things that we like to tell our students is we want to have knowledge of that. In your surrounding areas, businesses shut down because it's siesta time. This is not optional. This is an obligatory take a nap time. Do whatever you want to do.
It's like preschool.
It's like preschool. Take a nap. But we have snacks and everything because, like you said, when they reopen, it doesn't mean that the food is ready. It means that they're opening because they're going to start to cook the food. So this is all stuff that we get acclimated to. We say this.
It was open at 8, and so I rolled up at 8 because I was hungry. And then he yelled at me and he said, "I said I opened at 8. When did you think I was cooking the chickens?" Of course, I'm a capitalist, and I'm thinking, weren't you cooking them when you were sleeping? But I guess not. That's just me.
No, they don't shut down. They literally do not shut down to prepare and clean up and get everything ready. They shut down to sleep and to eat. And then they come back. and they start their business, which, in retrospect, think about it, Sandy, like,
Yeah.
we go. Everybody, when everybody's down, we're still working, right? Which is what we were talking about Thanksgiving holiday. We kind of really take a step back to really enjoy the time, whether it was, curating your perfectly panes con chupe turkey,
That's right.
or me, having my little ones decorating and doing cookies and all that fun stuff. But they really do have another perspective to life. And I think it was my brother-in-law or a cousin of mine that said, you guys live to work and we work to live. And I didn't quite understand it until now, being that we've been back to Spain a few times. I'm like, they really do take the time to take care of themselves.
Yeah,
And part of it is resting, right? Socializing. That's another component that we want the students to know. There's a lot of socializing. You will get to meet a lot of students your age, hang out.
And eating. Eating is a huge social event.
Eating is a huge, yeah.
From, having dinner is not just a 30-minute thing. It really is an event, sitting down and talking, connecting and sharing stories.
Huge.
That's the wonderful thing. And they don't eat dinner until probably 9:30, 10 o'clock. So you're not done with your activities until probably midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. Although the sun doesn't go down until about 9:30 or 10. So the nights are definitely, the days are longer.
Yes.
And so, the days just last longer. But the connectivity of having the freedom of, walking across the bridge to go explore, because there's so much to explore within the Juderia and that small section. I mean, Cordoba is not a huge city, but in the Juderia itself is so many things you can see. There's shows, there's museums, there's a Roman bath houses. There's a lot of influence, like Northern Africa, Arab influence, of course, Spanish, flamencos. I mean, there's so many things you can just enthrall yourself into. And if you're a shy person, somebody else is going to pull you out, because the teachers also try to get you out to go and meet people and talk to people and experience the day-to-day life. The whole purpose of that is to be able to experience a social connection with people who live there, so what it feels like to live in another country. It's not 100%. The same if you stay at a hotel, or if you stay in the city for 2-3 days and then you move on. That's not the same thing. This is 3 weeks of staying in the same city with weekend trips to Malaga, which is the hometown of Picasso and of